got something that might interest you.
Ah yes, resellers, the absolute scum of the earth. Passionless people who scoop up every single game you've been hunting for just to flip them on for a profit. It's a plague infecting this fantastic hobby we call game collecting. Did you catch the tinge of sarcasm in my voice there? In today's video, we're going to do a deep dive into why do game collectors hate resellers. I'll do my best to provide an unbiased perspective on this topic and to try and look at it from both sides of the coin, from a game collector and as someone who does partake in a bit of reselling here and there. It's a topic that's been bouncing around in the old noggin for a while now. A shower thought, if you like. Get rid of that image of me being the shower out of your head, you sick people. But it's been something that I've really wanted to talk about on this channel and on these videos here, because especially last year when I first started getting into YouTube and I did post a lot of car boot hunting videos, I did get quite a few negative comments about me scanning things at car boot sales, how people can't believe that I go to car boot sales, buy things for cheap and flip them on for a profit, or those sweet CX vouchers. And I know it's a topic that a lot of other reseller channels such as Retro Rummage have also mentioned on their YouTube channel, saying that they do get a lot of negativity around reselling, flipping things on for a profit. And I thought today I'd try and give a balanced argument on, you know, how everything isn't black and white and how you can both be a game collector and also a reseller, and how it doesn't necessarily take away from the magic of game collecting. So let's break it down, and hopefully by the end of this video you walk away with a fresh perspective and you don't see resellers as the devil incarnate. So the main comment I see on my own car boot hunting videos is, I can't believe you scan things in front of people. And this is something that I have gone back and forth in my own head, and yeah, it can seem very awkward when you go to a car boot, it's just you and the seller and you're at a small table and you start scanning things right in front of their face. But then I remind myself, knowledge is free at the end of the day. At car boot sales now, we're seeing a lot of people ask for silly prices for things, especially video games, because they know that video games are worth a lot of money. So if someone's asking £3 or £4 for a video game, why shouldn't I check CEX and make sure I'm not being overcharged? If I can buy a game from CEX for £1, £2 and the car boot is asking for £3 to £4, why would I not buy it from CEX when I get the 5-year warranty and the peace of mind? It just makes financial sense. So while yes, it can seem a bit weird at first, I just don't care anymore. I'm at the car boot sales, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm looking for a bargain at the end of the day, guys. So I'm going to scan things, and if that offends people, then I'm sorry, but I'm not going to change. And I recommend anyone that goes to car boot sales for video games to scan stuff, whether on CEX or eBay, just to make sure you're not being scammed and overcharged. Also, people need to realise that car boot sales, they're not there for people to make a lot of money. Obviously, it's good to make a bit of money at the car boot sales, but the primary goal of people going to the car boot sales isn't to make money. Car boot sales give sellers the opportunity to offload a load of crap at once. You saw me 3 or 4 weeks ago go through my loft and I brought a lot of stuff down, and over the last few weeks I've been trading it into CX for those sweet vouchers. If I went to the car boot sale, I reckon I could have got rid of 80 to 90% of that stuff in one day, but I wouldn't have been getting the true value of my goods. And people aren't stupid, they know that they can get more money than they're asking for at the car boot sales. You know, everyone's got a computer in their pocket with their phones and the internet, so people aren't daft. But some people don't have the time or the resources to do what I did and wait 3 or 4 weeks to, you know, sell things, and they can't be bothered to do it on eBay, so they'd rather go to the car boot sale, offload it for dirt cheap, and then the responsibility comes on to me, the buyer. Once I've exchanged that money, that's it. There's nothing else I can do. If it's broken, if it doesn't work, that's it. Sod's law, it's dead. So in my opinion, I don't see there being any real reason why you shouldn't be scanning stuff at car boot sales or charity shops. You know, people understand it's a two-way transaction. They're there to get rid of stuff, you're there to get a bargain. So keep scanning things away and don't feel pressured to not scan things based on a few negative comments. Now we get to the most common thing I see on general car booting hunting videos, charity shops, places where people pick up games for bargain prices, and it's this whole mentality of, oh, you should leave that for a true collector if you're just going to buy it and flip it. And this is something I've just never got on board with, this whole mentality of leaving it for a true collector. You know, hopefully you've seen in my videos, you know, you've looked around my room. I am a true collector. I love video games. I love this stuff. It's my main passion and hobby in life. You know, I live for this stuff, and just because I don't go out and buy games with, you know, real life money doesn't mean I'm not a true collector. You know, if I can go to a car boot or charity shop and buy something for £1 to £2 and then trade that in for £3, £4, £5, why would I not do that? You know, I'm going to CX anyway. If I can make my money stretch a bit further, I'm going to definitely do it. I want to hear from you down in the comments below. Have you actually left a game there in a charity shop or a car boot if you knew it had value and you didn't want to pick it up and add it to your collection? Be honest, let me know, because I can guarantee most people, if they find a game at a car boot or a charity shop and they know it's got value, they're picking it up and flipping it. And look, my own collecting habits, I need to be picking up vouchers to offset the cost. I'm a massive JRPG fan, and some of those games are ridiculously expensive. You've seen in my videos, you know, I'm picking up JRPGs for 60, 70, 80 pound, and if I can turn 20 pound into those 70, 80 pound vouchers to pick them up, I'm going to do it. It makes it so much more affordable for me. And when I see someone on YouTube pick up something rare from a charity shop for £1 and they flip it for, you know, a profit, my first initial comment isn't to go to their videos and go, oh, you should have left that for a true collector. It actually motivates me to get out there and hunt, and that's the kind of outlook I'd recommend you guys to have when you see people or you see me picking up things for cheap at the car boot sales. Let it motivate you, let it act as a source of inspiration to get out there. You know, look, it is getting harder to pick up games for cheap and flip them on for a profit. You know, everyone's doing it now, but use me and other channels as inspiration for your own game hunts, and keep it in the back of your mind that you can find things for cheap and flip it into CX for those sweet, sweet vouchers. And it just takes that one thing to really turn your day around. And I want to address one of the biggest issues that game collectors have with reselling, and it's this whole outlook that reselling is taking away the magic from game collecting. It's making it harder to find games, and it makes it more expensive for us game collectors. And look, I get it, I'm a game collector, I love this stuff, and it can seem quite soulless when you see people who clearly aren't gamers, no intention of playing games whatsoever, buying games with the sole intention of just flipping them on for a profit. I watch a YouTube channel, fairly big one, based in the US called Phoenix Resellers, and he gets a lot of flack about how he resells things. He'll go to garage sales, he'll buy things for cheap, and then 5-6 months later he'll flood the market with everything he's been picking up, and people don't like seeing that. You know, like I said earlier, people would rather him leave those games for someone else to pick up, and I don't come from that perspective. I think it's great that people can make money doing this kind of stuff. I don't knock the hustle, and I actually think we're part of the problem when it comes to increasing price. You know, like anything, it's about supply and demand. These games were released 10, 15, 20 years ago in some cases with the retro stuff, and they're in limited supply. So when people go crazy and that demand increases and the supply is low, the only thing that's going to happen is the price is going to go up. It's the simple equation with anything in life. The higher the demand and the lower the supply, it's going to drive prices up. You saw it last year, guys, with the Xbox 360 marketplace. You know, 2022, you could pick up Xbox 360 games for dirt cheap, and nobody wanted them. You were tripping over them in car boot sales, charity shops, CEXs. But then as soon as Microsoft announced that the digital store was going to be closed down, everyone went crazy. Every CEX group I was a part of, people were posting Xbox 360 pickups of My Horse and Me 2 and games that no one had any interest in playing. And I did fall into that trap a bit where just because everyone else wanted it, I wanted it. And I never looked at those games before. 2-3 years ago, couldn't even tell you what that game was, but just because everyone was going crazy about it, I was like, oh, I need to get it now, because if I don't buy it now, it's going to be removed from the digital store and prices are going to go up for maybe one day when I do want to play it. But that day never comes, guys. My opinion is, if you see something, buy it now. Don't wait around for people to push up the price or buy it when, you know, everyone's buying it. If you see a game and it's £3 or £4 or whatever the price is, just buy it now. Don't wait for the inevitable to happen. Just buy it now when you see it and you want it. YouTubers are also the problem. That's a bit hypocritical, me being a quote-unquote YouTuber, but you see it with a lot of the bigger channels like Retro Ghetto. I love his channel, but he does recommend a lot of games, and he's got a lot of power within the game collecting community now. And whenever he recommends a game, just out of interest, I always check to see how much it's going for on Amazon, and 9 times out of 10, after a few weeks, that game goes completely out of sale. It's because, you know, people haven't heard of those games, but because people trust what RetroGator's saying, they put a lot of weight into his words, and I think people shouldn't be panic buying and buying out of fear. If you see a game, pick it up while it's cheap, don't wait around. And here's the thing, guys, the final thing I want to say about this point is, without resellers and people flipping on games and moving games on for their collection, you wouldn't find half the games that you see out in the wild. You saw on my last video when I went to Vintage Gamer, some of those Super Nintendo games are super rare. Like, I've never seen some of those games in person ever. And I'm not even a Super Nintendo fan, but you know, after speaking to Nick, I recognise that some of those games are insanely rare. Not everyone lives near a CEX or retro game shop, and they've only got eBay to contend with. So seeing some of those games out in the wild was insane. Like, I'm in a hotspot for retro game collecting. I live close to about 4 CEXs. I've got 4 really good retro game shops, and within 10 miles I've probably got 10 CEXs and 10 retro game shops. So I'm really lucky, but for some people all you've got is a CEX and eBay, that's it. There's nothing else to go to. So without people getting these games out on the market, you'd never find them anywhere. So I actually think that these resellers make the games more accessible for collectors that actually want to add them to their own collection. The last thing I want to touch upon is the idea about the thrill of the hunt and why I collect in this way. So for me, a key thing that I love about this hobby is getting out there and buying things for cheap to flip into CX for those sweet, sweet vouchers. It's an amazing feeling, guys, when you find something for cheap and you're able to flip it on for a profit. Trust me, there's no other feeling like it. And it's one of the things I love about this hobby. As someone who's got a very stressful job, sat in front of a computer for 10, 11 hours a day, I love getting out there, getting some fresh air, touching some grass, and I'm in my happy place, I'm in my safe place, and I don't really care if I find anything or not at the car boot sales or charity shops. For me, I find it therapeutic, just being in my own world, my own little zone, and it just relaxes me. Hopefully you've gotten that vibe across from my vlogs over the last few weeks, that I'm very chill about things, and when I'm out there I just take things as they come. If I find anything, great, happy days. If I don't, so be it, but I just love being out there. But beyond that, collecting in this way for me adds a extra layer of sentimental value. Within reason, I could go out and buy, you know, a decent amount of games with real world money, but by doing it in this way where I'm having to flip things from car boot sales or clear out things from the loft or go for the collection and flip things in that way, it just adds more memories to the game. And when I pick up games from the shelf, for example, you saw me pick up God Hand for the PS2 a couple of weeks ago, and the way I was able to acquire the vouchers for that game, I went in the loft, I got everything down, got rid of a load of things, and I was able to amass a decent CEX voucher that way. And whenever I pick up God Hand from the shelf, all those memories are going to be attached to this game. I'm going to remember going to Wolverhampton CEX, going through Wolverhampton while the Dingles were playing football against Villa. Everything's going to be embodied within this game, and even if this game ends up being trash and I hate it, I've still got the memories attached to this game that I can look back on and reflect on. And it's such a powerful experience and such a powerful thing, this whole nostalgia and the memory thing that drives our game collecting habits. It's something that I'm really passionate about, and even better, I've got it all documented on these YouTube videos, so it's even more sweeter for me. So that's everything that I wanted to say on this topic. Hopefully it hasn't come across too rambly and I haven't gone off on a tangent too many times, but I think we live in a world today where everything's black and white, where if you're a reseller, you're a bad person, and if you're a video game collector, you can't resell on the side to make this hobby a bit more affordable. I think we need to stop, you know, painting everyone with the same brush, and I think you can be a bit of both. I personally think it's amazing that we're able to live in a day and age where you and I can buy things for cheap and flip them on for a profit, whether that be on eBay or CEX. And you know, 10-15 years ago, when the internet was barely at the stage it's at now and it was just in its infancy, I think it's such a powerful thing now where we live in this digital age where, you know, we've all got phones in our pockets, we've all got supercomputers in our pockets, and just at the press of the button, you're able to check how much something's worth and determine whether it's worth flipping on for a profit. I think it's such a powerful, amazing experience. But that's enough from me. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about reselling, and how do you think it's impacting the game collecting community? Do you think it's increasing demand? Do you think it's increasing prices? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit the like button and consider subscribing to the Collector's Quest channel. On my last video, I announced the latest giveaway of some sweet CX vouchers, so make sure you check out that to find out how you can win those vouchers. And like always, good luck on your game hunts and collecting adventures. Take it easy, YouTube, and I'll catch you in the next one.